Welcome back to Locker Room Dads, hosted by myself, Pat O'Donnell, punter for the Green Bay Packers, and co-host of the show, Josh Brinzo, brewery owner and father of two like myself. Today on the show, we have a dad. He does it all. He's a former NBA player and current shooting coach. This guy is a legend. I'm excited to talk to this guy. Without further ado, Adam, welcome to the show, man.
Guys, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. The name alone is amazing. I'm a dad of four.
Nice.
So super excited to talk about that stuff with you guys, but really honored to be here. And just getting connected with you guys over the last week and kind of researching and learning a little bit about it. It's just so special, the platform you guys have and what you're doing. And I just want to tell you, even from afar, you're making a massive impact. So thank you for that.
No,
yeah.
Thank you, because I want to dive into like what you do specifically. I know you just mentioned that you have 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 girl.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Nice. Did you have your first son while you were playing basketball, or was that everything after?
Yeah, me and my wife had him young. So my oldest is 16 years old. His name's Jaden. We have all J's. So we have Jaden 16, Jackson with an X is 11. Jonah is about to be 9 next month, and my daughter Jill just turned 6, who's named after my late sister. So yeah, Jaden, I was playing at the time playing in Germany. Something crazy happened where the pregnancy wasn't going to be covered anymore. At the time, I wasn't married to my wife, so we ended up having to come back to the States. I got out of my German contract at that time playing in Bamberg, Germany, and I had already had a contract lined up in Zagreb, Croatia. So we had Jaden back in Massachusetts, where both me and my wife were born. And then literally I flew out 3 days later. And then Jaden flew 7 days. He was 7 days old, flew to Croatia. So he has literally, we literally took him from the hospital to CVS to get the passport photo and like expedited it. And then I had to go because of the contract. And then my fiance at the time, obviously my wife and my sister flew 4 days later. And so Jaden literally has lived, he spoke 3 different languages. He's lived in like 5 different countries. He's literally been on the run since day one. So still to this day, it's amazing how kids just adjust to whatever lifestyle we have. And to this day, I could say, hey, Jaden, we're flying to Norway tomorrow and we're going to do 3 basketball camps and then we're flying to China. And he wouldn't even blink. And, some of my other kids that we had post-playing career, like if I were to tell them, it would be a complete disaster. So it's every kid is so unique in every experience. So, but yeah, Jaden's our oldest and he's been on the run with us for 16 years.
I can't believe the stress of getting a passport that fast, man. That you're already dealing with the birth, and now you're getting a passport and going to Croatia.
I know. And my wife, she's nuts. 6 years younger than me. God bless her. like, but yeah, just could you imagine, like literally, and she's having to think about that as well. But it was just our lifestyle, and professional sports is amazing, but it is. There's something to it. There's a pace to it. There's you have to be versatile but we've enjoyed it the whole time. And to be honest, I stopped playing in 2010. I've really missed that part of it. And we'll all be there someday. I always tell these basketball players, like the air comes out of your basketball at some point. And the 2 things I miss the most are competition and camaraderie. I love to compete. So now I will not let my kids beat me in Uno or War. Like it's serious. Where my wife is like the saint. Like everybody's a winner. She's the YMCA mom. Like, and it's what makes us work. But I'm so competitive. And then the camaraderie, the locker room. So in coaching now, I get a little bit of both, but it's nothing like playing. And then we loved our journey of playing on every level, from the NBA to the Development League, which is now the G League, but it was the NBDL back in my day. And then to all these different countries in Europe. And one of the coolest things was going into these new places, just like if I were to take a coaching job in 2 months in another city in the United States. Like it's such an adventure to go somewhere, make new friends, find your favorite restaurants, find the grocery store, and in these other countries, it's for us like trying to learn some of the language, finding friends that speak a little bit of English. Is there a McDonald's? Like what is, a grocery store? Like, so we really missed it. We were kind of, when I stopped playing, it was a little shock for both of us because, I had something happen in my life, but we miss it. But now we're in it a little bit. The coaching lifestyle can be just as crazy, just as vulnerable and stuff. So, but my playing career really, really prepared me for this next chapter of my life.
That is so cool. I feel like I thought my life was crazy, and then I'm listening and talking to you, and you're like, your life is insanely crazy. I mean, I'm just having to take my family like 2 hours north, and you're shipping them overseas. Oh, I can't even imagine.
It's similar to like the soccer player model, like soccer players, especially like bounce around Europe and all that, like guys trying to make a team. Basketball players that aren't like, a premier star in the league, they'll see some time overseas too. So it's a lot of bouncing around you got to get used to. And
it is.
If you can't adapt, it's probably pretty tough.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be being fully honest with you guys. My first year and a half was in the NBA. So in my mind, I was spoiled. I had an offer in Italy at the time, Rosetta, Italy, big time EuroLeague coach who ended up being a EuroLeague coach. Nevin Spahia was the head coach. He was young at the time, but long story short, I went over there and I wasn't ready. My mind hadn't shifted that like I could make an amazing career out of it. This is Italy. Like I looked at the weight room. I'm like, wait, there's one ice cube in my Diet Coke? Like, what is this? Like, it was just a different mindset. Fast forward a couple of years when I had shifted it, and my first real job that I took was in Las Palmas, Gran Canaria, which was the Canary Islands. So I was spoiled in that. But I then realized, like, man, how incredible this journey is. And it was really one of those points in my life that helped me for the rest of my career, was just like honoring the moment I was in. I was looking in the back. I was looking to forward. I belong in the NBA, things like that. And so I just really bought into it, and we thoroughly enjoyed, that chapter of our life, moving to different countries. I played in Spain, Israel, Germany, Croatia, France, Poland, China. So, looking back now, and I'm still so angry that I didn't take any foreign languages in high school. Like back then it was like, you almost like got beat up. Like I learned a little French, and, but man, little did I know where my career would take me. And like, man, if I had a little bit of more of that foundation. So we laugh about that now. So I tell all my kids, like, you have no clue where your journey is going to take you. So learn as much as you can. And,
Now I want to ask you being in all those different places, what was the easiest to like raise a family? I guess a transition from English speaking, maybe to a leisure lifestyle. Like, what was the easiest transition for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, with Jaden, my oldest, and my wife, it was fun. We had a contract in Limoges, France, and it was amazing. So dealing with French people for a year, it was tough, But no, I had a little French background. I could read more than I could speak, just like anything. Like sometimes when we speak English to somebody, like it's just fast. You know what I mean? It seems like fast and slang. Like when people speak fluent French or fluent Spanish, I'm like, whoa, slow down. But I understood enough. I could speak enough and to get by. So that made it easy, but just an incredible place to raise a family, just the way they do it. The culture, I'll tell you a funny story. Like, in America, you know how it is. You go to a restaurant, like they are trying to get you in and out as fast as possible, like to turn over tables for tip. Like, and with families, sometimes even now we'll go like, look at the waitress, like, we have 4 kids, get us out of here as fast as possible. Yeah. Whatever's ready, bring it out. Like, and then we went to France with Jaden. We have a young, like, he's climbing under the tables, whatever. And it is like a 3-hour dinner. Like, no hurry, no rush. This tiny little piece of steak comes out, like, and I'm sitting there like angry, like, oh my God, I got a game tomorrow. My kid is all between my legs. We're embarrassing ourselves. But it was just the culture over there to settle down, relax, and enjoy it. So it really helped us as young parents too, to just take the pressure off us of moving at such a fast pace all the time.
Yeah. I mean, with 4 kids now, is it easier to go out to dinner? Because I'm in a stage that you're like,
it's tough.
Yeah, preaching to the choir right now. I have a 2-year-old and I have a 8-month-old son, so I totally get that. Like, it is a task to go out to dinner, and it's something that you want to do with your wife and make sure like everyone's having a good time. But I do understand when you look at the waitress or the waiter and you're like, listen, whatever comes out, literally come out as fast as possible.
And my wife's kind of got it down to a science. She literally, like, normally you get drunk, and if she's like, no, we're ready for the whole order, like, she'll just rattle it off. And like, and then we always laugh too. You ever go to the restaurants where it's like pretty wide open, but they'll literally sit you, a family of 6, Harrington, party of 6, here we come, right next to this cute young couple that's probably on a date. And the whole restaurant's open. You ever happen to you guys? You're like, it does. Well,
yeah.
I think that's birth control. It's birth control for them.
Pretty much, but they're like, the workers working the section. I'm like, they can't walk 10 more feet, so we can give these people peace and quiet.
Yeah, help them.
Yeah, so we always laugh. It's one of those weird things I just don't understand. But yeah, we try. I mean, we don't we try to strategically go out to dinner and stuff. And sometimes it's just giving my wife or me a break from cooking or whatever it is. But my wife's like, I don't want to clean one more time today, so let's go out. But yeah, we enjoy it. But it, like Wood said, with 4 kids, there's always somebody either has gas, somebody spills a drink, like, you know what I mean? Somebody flicks somebody in the ear. Like it's hilarious. So, but we enjoy it. We laugh a lot. So,
it definitely keeps you guys busy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you seem like the coolest dad that we've had on the show.
I mean, you're like easy.
The most interesting man in the world.
Yeah. A lot of travel.
Yeah.
No, but I want to talk about the clubhouse. I really want to talk about this because you got it all over your chest there. You got the hat on, you got the garb, the gear. So walk us through exactly what is the clubhouse. I'm assuming it's for the youth. I don't know if you guys run AAU basketball tournaments or if it's strictly training or what you guys got going.
Yeah, so the story behind it is I have a really good, my best friend in New Jersey, he coached my son. His son and my oldest son are best friends, and we've just become really good friends. He's in commercial real estate. I'm obviously in basketball. You know, I lived in New Jersey, but obviously coached in Brooklyn, you know, for 6 years. And we wanted to build a place. So if you can kind of see the logo, it's a play off those who are planted will flourish. So I'm a big footwork guy in all my training. You know, in basketball, the first thing you hit the hardwood are your feet and all your power balance. So, and obviously I'm a faith-filled guy, so I really believe being planted, you'll flourish. So we wanted to build a place. So essentially, if you can kind of look, it's in Orange, New Jersey. So it's an orange tree, and on one side is 6 oranges. That's my family. The other side is 5 oranges. That's his family. So it's 2 dads that wanted to come together to build a place for their kids in the community to flourish. And we called it the clubhouse because you'll laugh at this. So I golf, but I'm not I'd rather go play pickleball or tennis or go for a run. Like I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, but we belong to this country club, you know, and a lot of times we just go to eat our food minimum. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to build a place. Call it the clubhouse because, you know, so I got a custom bar upstairs, you know, with my tequila in it or whatever. Like, but I was like, I'm going to build I'm there 6 hours a day now, so I'm really going to get my investment back. But yeah, me and the other dad kind of built it, just really saying that we wanted to have time with our kids and do some community stuff. And I always have such a commute. I would be sometimes 4 to 5 hours round trip, you know, between going to shoot around, coming back, then going back for the game and that. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, like 41 home games for me were like 41 days on the road. I wouldn't see my kids. So there's times that I was coming home and I'd be like, all right, now I got to find a gym to go work out my oldest son. So I'd drive, you know, 30, 40 minutes in this kind of traffic in this area, work him out for an hour and a half, come back 30 minutes. I'm like, wait, I haven't even seen my other 3 kids, let alone my wife. I'm like, I got to build something within 20 minutes of where I live. I'm willing to invest whatever. And I'll be honest, we did it right before COVID, and it's been the best blessing ever. Forget whatever amount of money it might have cost at the time. I've obviously partnered with legends and brands. So I was he was the real estate guy and construction guy. I was the basketball brand and all that connection. Yeah. So I'm running pre-draft workouts now. We have college groups, high school groups, and I coach a group of 3rd graders because my 8-year-old, my 5-year-old daughter has her kindergarten workouts there and stuff. So it's been really cool. And then I'm able to combine it kind of with my sister's charity and do a lot of give back into that area or the surrounding areas of Newark and Orange, New Jersey. So it's been super rewarding.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, I love it. What is the most fulfilling age group? Because you just rattled off a bunch there. You went from all the way from draft all the way down to what, kindergarten with your youngest?
You got everything.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, obviously, you know, anytime I'm able to pour into my kids and that stuff, that's always special. You never want to take that for granted. But there's something about draft guys, you know, so I have 4 guys that are preparing for the NBA draft. And there's something about that, like, wide-eyed wonderment. And I know, Pat, you're in it, like, just guys that are like, you know, I always equate it to, like, when we were kids and we go to Disney, like, when you walk into the park, you're like, and like, you know, just that whatever you're taking it all in so I really enjoyed it. They're obviously, I have a wealth of knowledge that I believe I can help them with. And to be honest, I've been with Kevin Durant, you know, for 10 years. And every time we've had thousands of workouts, he has this wide-eyed wonderment. Like, if you can make me 1% better, I am all into it. So obviously, anytime you're able to work with the highest of the highest elite, you know, it's very, very special. And I don't ever want to take that for granted too. So I think I've always prided myself on being able to do, if a group of kindergartners walked in, I could make an impact there. And if one of the best offensive players in the world came in, I can make a difference. And so that's part of, it's your competitive nature. And I'm, as a former athlete, wired for progress. And I even carries over to me as a dad and a husband. Like I'm always wired for progress, always wired for a challenge, and want to dig in. And I don't always probably take the best path, if you ask my wife, or it doesn't, the competition can get the best of me sometimes, but I'm wired for progress. And so I try to do that in all areas of my life.
I really think getting those guys ready for a draft would be so cool. Like those guys are like getting ready to take that next step in life and build a career. Like being able to help someone like that would be such a cool feeling.
Yeah. And there's just so many, like we do a lot of cool whiteboarding stuff, just learning offensive terminology, just all the things. I mean, I did obviously coaching the NBA. I did Brooklyn's draft workouts for 6 years. and you saw from Pascal Siakam, I mean, you could go down the list of guys and they're super nervous. But I also knew what we were looking for as coaches, in this front office and all that stuff. So being able to bridge those gaps for them, and pour into them that way, whether prepping for an interview, hey, give me a scout. I asked a guy today, tonight we got the Toronto Raptors, you're starting on Pascal Siakam. How would you guard him? Like just even rehearsing that, and going through what's one time you wanted to quit your basketball journey, and, and what made you not quit? Just going through those type of things that they might deal with. But and then obviously all the basketball skills and stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm obsessive compulsive, so we're going to dinner and we're going to spoil them, and they're essentially clubhouse family now. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
And how many classes have you had for the draft prep?
This is the first time I've done it, because this is the first year I was, last 6 years I was in the NBA, so I wouldn't be able to do that. I would do it for the Brooklyn Nets. So now kind of being,
gotcha.
I took this.
So you're with the Nets with that.
Yeah, okay. And then now I'm out on my own. I had, an agency hired me. So I'm essentially working out an agent, all his draft guys, guys that signed with him and preparing him. So I'm in this unique kind of gap year where I'm just able to dabble in a few different things. And obviously the biggest reason was to pour back into my family just from being on the run. And Pat, professional sports and stuff. Yeah. So, and coaches sometimes, it's, we can even, there's we always get obsessed with, there's more film to watch. There's more that, what I mean? And trying to find that balance and stuff, So this was a good year for me but also to dabble in some other things and make impacts in other ways.
Yeah, were you able to balance when you worked for the Nets there, your family life, as far as it seems like you have a great head on your shoulders the way you're speaking, because I see it day to day. Like I've seen staffs, I've seen coaches, they're all different, and I don't know if anyone has a right answer for it. I've had coaches that get them out 5 o'clock, go to your family. You're not going to get any more productive work done after 5, 6 o'clock. And I've had coaches that grind them all the way till 10, 11. And they want to, like you said, they want to find the edge. They want to find that one clip, that one play, that one thing that's going to make the team better, which I totally get.
Yeah.
I just want to see how you, as a father, balanced everything. Was there rhyme or reason to a certain way about things?
Yeah. So, I had no ambitions of coaching initially. When I was my own trainer, I had, obviously had KD full time. I was working with Elena Deladon and long story short, Scotty Brooks, who's arguably my biggest mentor, was coaching Oklahoma City at the time. And he came to me and started talking to me about it. And Scotty was an incredible husband and an incredible father. And so I was always impressed on how he made it work. And he created a culture that was very family oriented. So I won't go through everything, but in my mind, when I decided to go to coaching, I made a pact with my wife that if I ever felt it got out of hand or impacted me being a father or our growth as a family, that I was willing to step away. I would go back to individual training, or I would go clean floors, whatever mattered. So I was very fortunate, when I took the kind of my first big deal in the NBA with Brooklyn. Sean Marks had created a very family culture. And so I would say more organizations now are trending towards that. It's just become the way, where back in the day it wasn't. And and that's what had initially scared me, was I don't want to be this overweight coach who's unhappy, drinks too much, never sees his kids. And there are amazing coaches. I am not judging anybody, but that was, I'm being honest with you, that was a fear of mine. And I didn't want to do that. So I was so fortunate to get in a family first. And then I made the pact, I always said, no matter what I was doing, I was taking my family on the journey with me. And I think a lot of sometimes easier to do that as a player, because a lot of these organizations, you can, they can come to the game and they can be a part of the locker room, but it's very rare in the coaches. It's almost, frowned upon. But I think it's trended more. But I wanted, even when I was an individual trainer and I was gone 2 weeks on the road with KD or whoever I was training, like my kids knew where I was, and I brought them along on the journey. And we always talked about Daddy's not working, Daddy's helping people. So even when I left Brooklyn, one of my proudest moments as a dad, my youngest son, I said, hey, we're going to be on a new adventure. And the first thing he said, oh, okay, cool, Dad. We get to have more time with you. And he says, who are we helping next? And I literally melted inside. And like I said, we communicated all the time, and that we were helping people. And whether it was with basketball or obviously, coaches are on the court and off the court, on the field, off the field. So those were kind of the ways that I tried to find balance. And then I just became super intentional. I mean, even for 2023, I've kind of had this intentional slogan. Before that, I always tried to be super intentional. So I would get up early and I would do my little workout and my movement and my routine to make sure that I could have breakfast with the kids. And, even later on, I had so much towards the last couple of years of my job in Brooklyn. Like, I would come back, I would drive back over an hour just so I could spend an hour and 10 minutes with my kids when they got home from school, turn around and fight the traffic an hour and a half to get back for pregame, and then I would land at midnight. Yeah. I don't say that to do that, but I just valued that time. And I respect everybody's hustle, grind, and everybody has their own journey. It was just, to me, it's what I deemed important. And as a former athlete, I said, I kind of obsessive compulsive by nature. And if it's important to me, then I was totally going to make the effort. And I was exhausted. And I had road rage and my toll bill was ridiculous. But I was like, man, to hold my daughter's hand and walk home after school and maybe have a snack, boom. And then I'm back in the car. So, but it's also, it definitely, it wore on me for sure. I mean, part of the reason I'm out on my own this year and figuring out what, potentially what we'll do next, but it was awesome. And I think we just, as coaches and even as players, we just have to constantly remind ourselves, or hopefully have somebody in your life that's encouraging you and sharpening you to remind you of your priorities and those things. And I was okay with having people be like, man, Adam, you slow down, remember your why, and so that's really helped me. And even as I make this next decision in my career, that's at the forefront is the family dynamics, my time, and how it all works together.
When do you have to make that decision for the next step?
Yeah.
Is it something that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously college jobs are moving now, and then the NBA regular season ended on Sunday, so tonight's the first playing game. So obviously a few teams have already moved some staffs and stuff. So you'll see. There's some people I'd love to work for. There's some opportunities, but you weigh. I mean, it's great that this is a Locker Room Dads podcast because
I'm glad we caught you before all the busyness and transactions and movement happened.
We've been in here now 7 years, and as a player or a coach, that is like a lifetime. I've had from Mike D'Antoni, a few of my other mentors be like, Adam, I won Coach of the Year, and I didn't stay in a place for 6 years. So we've been a little spoiled. So we're a little rooted. And me and my wife are, I guess you could say, passionately discussing what we signed up for and what might need to happen. But also I have a soft spot, in the sense of you do want to do right by your kids and your wife, and they are comfortable here. And so we're weighing all those things, and I'm always brutally honest, it's not easy. And there's some anxious times and some stressed out times. And, so I'm trying to talk to a lot of people and just figure out how that works, but it's awesome. Yeah. Some opportunities are coming. But I'm also blessed just with all the things that I have going on, that if nothing was perfectly right for us at this time, then I could stay out doing what on my own, carve out my own time and do that. And that's exciting as well. So I'm very thankful, very grateful for all the opportunities that I have, and just kind of silently praying on whatever one would be best for our family in this next chapter.
That's a really great position to be in, though, to be able to, kind of make the best decision for the family and not just yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's tough sometimes, but it's like I said, we really have the ability to go any direction we want. And, that's just a testament to how we've operated, over these last 10 years and the position we're in.
So say a team out West calls you, is that because it's similar to free agency, right? Mm-hmm. So you're a free agent. People are going to call. They're going to see what's up. I know the clubhouse is going to be okay, right? You got people that are going to be there running the day-to-day stuff. But is there like a special organization or something that you and your family value most? I know it's probably keeping it close if you can, in proximity to where you live.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was a special job or a position or an organization that you would love to be affiliated with, or a special player that you would love an opportunity to work for. I guess when it's all said and done before you retire.
Yeah. I would say, obviously growing up, the Celtics were always a special thing. Me and my wife are both from Massachusetts. She has family in New Jersey as well. So we're East Coast, but it's funny you bring up West Coast because I love the West Coast. Like, I'm an East Coast guy, but man, I go out as soon as I get off the plane, I'm taking my shirt off, soaking it in, acting like I can surf and going to get a green smoothie. But I do love the West Coast vibe. But obviously there's two people. Like, I'm really in coaching because of Kevin Durant and Scotty Brooks. So I'm a loyal, honorable guy. Like, I would love, to serve Scotty. Maybe he gets one more job. His name will be, that would be, my whole family, we're forever grateful. And he's just been an incredible mentor, and our wives are best friends, and the kids all love each other. His kids are a little older. We vacation every summer together. I just feel like our whole family would love to honor and serve him in some capacity. And then obviously I've had a few times, I've been with Kevin for 10 years. It's always special being around him. So, obviously he's in Phoenix now. Maybe there's potential opportunity there, but we're also, like, at this point now, it is what's best for our family and things like that. But those are two people that I thoroughly, and there are several others, like, gosh, there's especially some young up and coming coaches that might be first timers. I'm super excited to see how all that unfolds, but I love, like, being an assistant. Like, there's something honorable in just serving somebody in whatever capacity they need. And that's not always easy for, especially, like I said, wired for progress and things like that. But I really enjoy that. And it's so special. Even the highest of the highest, athletes in the NBA, these best players, like, there's so much room for growth, and they're so open to it. And, being a dad of 4 and everything I've kind of gone through, I really believe that's all part of my ability to help them with player development, is the ability to talk to them about stuff off the field and how they are as a man, how they are as a father. And those are some of my best stories from my time with Brooklyn, whether it's Spencer Dinwiddie or Joe Harris or all those guys that we went through, was really those, just seeing Spencer now, the father he is. It's like way better. He makes $25 million a year. Like, I'm happy about that because he was making $1 million when he started with us. But, like, man, to see him hug his son and all that stuff, it's super rewarding.
Yeah, what's the crossover like from being a coach and a dad? Because obviously, like, in the NBA, the teams are pretty tight compared to, like, an NFL team with, like, 60 guys.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, like, we all, essentially each coach is, especially on the player development side, is going to handle 2, 3, 4 guys. So you get super close every day. There's 82 games. So you're literally, for 6 months, you're with each other every single day. You have a mandatory day off, but it's like, I'm either sending you clips or we're FaceTime each other talking trash or whatever it is.
Right.
I'll see you tomorrow. Like, in my first year, I'm getting a little older now. My knees are not what they used to be. I used to play with them every day and work out with them. So it was so fun. But yeah, it's a really intimate, and, you're definitely on this journey, and, and as assistants, like, you're bridging all these gaps between players and the head coach, then the GM's got input and the coach, so there's a lot going on. And,
it's important, though. You have an important job.
No, for sure. And for sure, I've always said that. I think organizations have to continue to pour more into their assistants. Like, and I'm an assistant, so yeah, cool. I'm like speaking on behalf, but, like, we're literally the ones that are with the players day to day and the most. And, as we always should, players should be first, and we're investing in their development all the time, and head coaches and then, go to all these retreats and things like that. But these assistants, how we pour into them. But also, it's great when you have leaders, whether it's the general manager or the head coach, that creates these cultures of making sure that their families are good, and that they, hey, you know what? Go home today, man. Get out of here at lunchtime. Like, you don't need to, we got 8 other guys here to rebound. Like, go home. Your daughter has a recital. Right. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, it's so, it's cool. So,
you mentioned vacation real quick and briefly, and we'd love to talk about this topic on the podcast. We'll pivot real quick from your day-to-day stuff. Is there a special vacation that you and your family have taken, or a special place that you guys love to go in off season or just to unwind?
Yeah, you're gonna laugh. It's Disney World. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We have some like cool beach places. You know, I grew up going to the Cape. My wife grew up going to like the Jersey Shore, Ocean City, which is beautiful. I thought growing up, everybody thought New Jersey was like the armpit of America. So you're like, no way, it's beautiful beach. It's beautiful, and the water's way warmer than the Cape Cod. Like, but Disney World, like I'm literally looking right now to book a 2-day thing just to get away because our things have been so good. But my wife, she loves it. Like she is literally the Excel sheet to the time. Like 9:06, eat your big Mickey pretzel. 9:08, run to Thunder Mountain. Like she maps it all out, and so we love it. All the kids love it. It's just something we do, and it's like you see the same ride every single time, but you get so excited, like that wide-eyed wonderment. But we love it. We have some friends that have places down there. We've been fortunate enough, I'll be honest, to say we've done the VIP a couple times, which is totally the way to go. I will.
It is very
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Cool.
It's incredible. Like, especially with kids, like you're not waiting in lines or anything. It's such a cool experience. They'll literally pick you up and drive you in the back. And like, so we've done that. And now I'm like, I totally saved just to be able to do that. But yeah, Disney is something we've done. Well, Jaden was able to go to Euro Disney in Paris when we lived there. But we've done Disneyland and Disney World. We love it. So at least once a year for sure. Yeah.
Listen, I love it.
Don't get him started on Disney.
We're annual pass holders, but for those people listening who don't know, the VIP thing ranges in price depending on season. But it may seem really expensive because it's not cheap, but it's 10 people. Like you get 10 people in a group. It's actually kind of worth it.
Well, the Harrington party is 6.
You got to make
already 6.
Yeah. Make it.
No, we've done it. Yeah.
But it's sweet. It's really cool.
If you get it off peak, I want to see. You have to do a minimum of 7 hours. You're looking at like $3,500, and I am not telling anybody what to do with their money. But it is so. And if you're splitting it between, to your point, 2 or 3 families, it's not that. Oh, after you do it, you'll be like, I would have paid $10,000 for that thing. Like,
you can knock out every park in a day, like all the rides, you name it. It's easy.
I had to
That's pretty cool.
Go and speak somewhere in Tampa recently, and I went to see a friend in Orlando. And sure enough, I bought a 1-day ticket to Epcot Center and drank my way around that World Showcase.
Yes!
It's the greatest thing ever. I'm like,
let's go.
Like, don't tell anybody. I'm like this creepy dad that's just got no kids, just walking around. But I loved it. And my friend Tiago Splitter, who played the NBA for a year, he met me there. He was on All-Star break, but oh man, I love it. I love it. Disney is the best.
Oh man, Epcot's my favorite. We did that for my birthday 2 years in a row now.
So. And the people watching
totally
alone, like, don't get me wrong, my family, we're probably a little crazy sometimes too, but you can see every dynamic of a family at that park, whether it's the meltdowns to the it's just incredible people watching as well.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what I'm afraid of, the meltdowns.
Oh.
We're kind of like strategic with our naps and this and that and breakfast and dinner, like what you and your wife do. Josh, I give him and his wife so much credit where they will literally nap Billy in the stroller. Like if they're pushing around the park, she'll just knock out in the stroller.
Yeah, I
have anxiety like thinking about that.
We've been taking Billy. She's 2.5 now. We've been taking her since she was like 2 months old or something to Disney. Our son Bennett, he's 5 months today actually. He has been to Disney like 4 times already. So they're used to it. And Bennett's a champ. He doesn't cry or anything when we're there. Billy loves Disney, so it's great.
Awesome.
No
my wife's the same way. She's pretty routine, but when we're there, I would be the one because I used to love. I'm one of those dads like, oh, the kid has to nap. I'll nap with them. I'll go lay down with them. But so I used to kind of when we first started doing it, I get angry like, we're not going home to nap. Like she's like, no, they're napping in the stroller. We're gonna keep moving. It's 9. Yeah.
Oh, so she does.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Because she loves Disney. I don't know if she went. I used to go like once every 3 years, like when I was a kid growing up. Something super special. I think my wife would have maybe only went once, but she loves it. If I told her right now we're going, like she doesn't want to do that much because of everything we got going on. But I'm like, hey, we're going to Disney. She'd drop everything and change all the plans. So that's always a special thing for us.
That's awesome.
Okay, so now we're on a Disney topic. I just want to ask because my daughter is really into the Disney movies, and I don't know if you guys have finally, yes, she was. We had her on like all these like Baby Einstein videos, like super slow little TV show. So now we're really into Moana. I didn't know if your kids is still into Disney or what's the number one Disney movie that your kids love in the house.
Oh, what's the Well, obviously, my daughter loves Frozen. She's big into Frozen. Oh, yeah, we are massive. Yeah,
Classic.
Disney Plus is one of the greatest things ever created. Yeah, so we watch it all. But Moana's coming out with a real life one. They just announced it. Yeah.
And the
No way.
Rock is in it.
It's going to be really cool.
I want to say shout out to The Rock, though. Like, he's done a lot of stuff. And then you watch Moana, I'm like, this guy is so talented.
He's very talented.
So talented.
Right?
He's in my top 5 of, like, who I'd love to have coffee with or a glass of tequila with. You know how you can, like, pick 5 famous people? Like, I would just love to just sit and rap with him. Like, he's got to be so cool. Like, I got up at 4:30.
He's got a cool story.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, so he's such an inspirational follow too. So it's good. And how he manages everything he has going on in his life, super impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So shout out to The Rock. We'd love to have you on.
Yes,
all right, what are your other 4? You have top 5? I want to hear your other 4.
Oh, you would put me on.
Do you have 4?
You're putting him on.
Do you have 4? Oh, give me one. Give me one. One other person. It could be throughout history. It could be current.
I definitely have. Let me see.
Is it MJ? Is it LeBron?
No,
is it easy?
I've done those. I've been fortunate enough to do those. Who the heck was it? There was just one I was talking the other day. What?
I mean, I would have loved to talk to Kobe. That is one that I would have loved to just sit, like fly on the wall, just sit, absorb knowledge, and just.
I mean, I guess I will say this one, seing as I'm from Massachusetts, Tom Brady. So I will say that. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Oh, he's already out there. How do you know a Boston fan or New England Patriots? They're going to tell you.
Yeah, no. I used to love. I always wanted to talk to Michael Schumacher. You guys remember him, Michael Schumacher? Yeah.
Okay.
Like back in the I mean, now there's like Lewis Hamilton and those guys, but I was just enamored, about just how he operated. Yeah.
Schumacher was an amazing, talented driver, and that was like at a time, even though Ferrari was amazing, there was still really high competition between the teams, and Schumacher just was so freaking good. You just couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
So I don't know who my person would be. I'd have to give that some thought.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. There's plenty of athletes. I grew up a Cleveland fan through and through. I've seen the best and the worst.
Did you say Joe Thomas?
I do love Joe Thomas.
Joe
Thomas is a great guy. Unbelievable career. But I don't know. There's a lot of good names there.
You probably throw LeBron when in Cleveland.
He was good for the Cavs.
Oh. He's such a
for the city of Cleveland. He was great. For the city of Cleveland.
I cried in 2016. It was a great time. It's the only professional championship I've gotten to witness, and it was a great one.
You know somebody? I'll name drop here, but he wasn't in my top 5. But I recently got connected to Drake, and I wanted to one of the most genuine people I've ever met. Like incredible eye contact. Like he obviously a big basketball fan, so he knew I kind of trained KD and stuff. But I walked away. I'm not a big music guy. Obviously, my 16-year-old son is like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, you know what I mean? But I was just more impressed that he literally entered the room and his smile just lit everything on fire and just had an incredible charisma about him. So I was just super impressed. Like I love things like that, like those people that just give you, that incredible feeling, have incredible eye contact, and remember your name and things like that. So yeah, I was super impressed.
That's cool to hear. That's really cool to hear.
All right, I know my person. I got it.
Go ahead.
Anthony Bourdain. I normally don't get sad because you don't know them, when someone passes. Anthony Bourdain got me through college. I got there, I was new to Texas. I didn't really go out with a bunch of people. I used to watch a show all the time. I was like, this guy can connect with literally anybody. And he made all these cities sound amazing. He went to Cleveland, and you would have thought he was in Paris or something. I was like, dude, he made Cleveland sound great. I'm proud of that. He just was so cool, and you just felt like he was a cool guy to go get a drink with, have a meal with.
He could tell an incredible story. Cool. So I'm very good friends with JJ Redick, and that's a lot of his inspiration behind his media stuff was Anthony Bourdain. He loved him, but just more storytelling. Storytelling. There's an art to it, and
there is.
He was. That's a great name. Yeah.
I heard Reddick. He's awesome too.
Incredible.
I heard nothing but good
incredible.
things about him.
I'm gonna tell him about your pod. He'd be an incredible dad. I've always been a fan, and we got connected. I want to say 2014. I've been friends ever since. Training him.
Nice.
I used to sneak and train him when I wasn't supposed to because he was with another team. So I could say that now because I'm not in the NBA. But no, I love him, and he's just little. It's no surprise that he's not crushing his next chapter of life. So he's doing really well.
Oh, I love that. All right. I have one question pertaining to your job, your old life, your NBA. Most fulfilling moment that you've had.
Ooh.
That's a
Yeah.
tough question, Pat.
I'll give you one of.
It doesn't have to be the most.
Yeah, not the most, but like these people listening, they're like, it sounds like you live the most incredible life. You've seen so many things. You meet amazing people. You have an amazing family. I just want to like paint the picture like for them if they're listening.
Yeah.
An amazing moment, like
2018, 19, when we made the playoffs and were the 6th seed, we had D'Angelo Russell, Jared Dudley, Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie. Like, when we took over, when Sean Marks took over Brooklyn in 2016, I'm sure some people know the story, but just no draft picks. That Boston traded went completely sideways, and it was literally going to be, late first round draft picks, second round picks, and free agency. To find Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris were out of the league at the time, get them on minimum contracts and kind of build it. That was so rewarding. And to be honest, it was a no brainer for me to take the job because I love player development and I love challenges. So I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll do that. And we were moving back to the area. We were living in Oklahoma City at the time. So I was all in, but, knew we weren't, when we lost 24 games in a row at one point that first year, but you would have thought we won 25 in a row. And because it was just a culture that we had created, and it was all about development. It was all about the next step. We had an incredible staff that where everybody was rowing in the same direction. So that was super rewarding. But then to obviously basically move up the timeline faster than we were supposed to get that, it was just a special time for our family and everything. Just to go along playoffs in Brooklyn. I will say that Brooklyn is a special city. They love basketball in New York. So that was cool. And then outside of that, take that to then getting Kevin Durant in free agency, somebody that I was so close with, to kind of be reunited. And
for sure,
everyone knows at the end, everything didn't work out, but like, what a special time for a group of people that had been in Brooklyn since 2016. So those are special moments, a lot of, in professional sports, a lot.
No, I appreciate you sharing that. That's amazing.
Hours,
that is so cool.
Stuff going on, but it was just a testament to what so many people had started to build. And so it was really rewarding. And then just as, having a young family, getting them to experience it. I'll tell you a story. Like when we first took the job, my oldest son was, God, how many years ago now that, he might've been 11 or 12. And, we had Luis Scola, Randy Foy, but, great NBA players. But like, we, as I mentioned, we weren't going to be very good. But Dad's like, my son's like, Brooklyn, Dad, Randy Foy, Luis Scola, to then 6 years later, it's like Kevin Durant, James Harden, like just going down. So, it was awesome. And, those kind of moments really, really stick out. But like I mentioned before, Spencer accomplishing his goal of making $20-something million a year and a father to Karis LeVert, to those guys, and, making an impact on them, to still have all those friendships. That's really the ultimate special thing.
Yeah. Well, I've got a question for you regarding Brooklyn. Being in Brooklyn, is the media harder on you or the Knicks? And I probably know the answer because I lived in the area.
Yeah.
The media eviscerates the Knicks. Like
it's definitely.
But I don't know what it's like.
No, it's definitely not as tough as the Knicks. So, but it's such an interesting. There's something special about the Garden and the Knicks, though. Like, obviously, growing up, I was a Boston fan in general, so I love it was good. I loved playing the Knicks, and you wanted the Knicks to be good. You know what I mean? It just made it overall better. When the Knicks are good, it's good for the NBA basketball. In general, those big markets, just like the Lakers, the Celtics, things like that. So, but yeah, definitely that New York media. I mean, they just hadn't had a lot of success for so long. So that they would beat you up real quick. So, and no, but I mean, at the end of the time, it's, Brooklyn went through some of their tough stages, and there were tough questions to answer. And, we didn't live up to expectations at certain times from, so yeah, it's tough. Pat knows all about that media, man. It can shift.
I do.
It can shift
I do.
quick, but it's such a necessary part of, why everybody, even us coaches. Yeah.
Oh, the sport.
A lot of money.
For sure.
So yeah. Yeah.
New York media got me once. I lived in Connecticut for a bit, and I just remember driving into the city one day, and it's right before a Knicks season, Yeah, and they're like, oh, we're gonna be so good this year. All this stuff, like talking about the roster at the time, it's like 2018 or no, 2016. So they were talking about how good their roster was and that there were spots for improvement, but they thought they'd be solid. Like 2 weeks in, I'm driving again. Oh, this team sucks. They're terrible. They're never going to go anywhere. They got to fire the coach. Like all this. I'm like, man, they turned quick here.
It's so interesting. Like I grew up in Boston. I don't do a lot of sports talk radio because it's nauseating to me. Like especially when you're listening to a sport you know about or you have inside information. So people often ask me like, and I'm like, man, if you only knew the truth, like, or like the truth,
For sure.
It's not even remotely close to that. So it can work both ways. You're like, man, it's actually worse than that's being reported. Or you're like, that is so off. It's not even close to true. Like, so it's interesting. So I can chuckle out about it with my own sport, but yeah, it's hard. I don't do a lot of sports stuff. And I'm not, I'll be honest, I can say it, I'm not a big First Take or all that stuff either. Like, and those guys are super talented and what an incredible way to communicate and get all this information and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, some of it it's a little over the top for me.
It's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, and I bust JJ now.
Yeah.
Like, you told me you weren't going to do hot take stuff, and look at you now. Like, now and it's DraftKings commercials and all this stuff. Like, but no, I mean, it's what people click on, what people like. But that's sometimes it's a little too much for me.
For sure. Adam, dude, this has been an amazing podcast. Like, I want to be respectful of your time. I know you got the family you're getting back to. Is there anything like you want to push, say, last moment, closing remarks, where people can find you? I mean, this has been amazing.
I mean, obviously I'm on Instagram, Adam P. Harrington. And then one thing I'd love to share, in 2010, I was playing professionally over in Europe and I had a family tragedy. My older sister passed away from stage 4 undiagnosed colon cancer at 33. And she was 8.5 months pregnant. And we lost a baby boy too. So obviously I came back. It was towards the end of the season. My heart had shifted. I was completely obsessed with making a difference. Took a year off. My wife kind of looked at me and was like, what are we going to do for money? And I started training. I had a little name in my area back home in Massachusetts, but I started training a middle school girl for $25 an hour and kind of built this little training business. And then I was traveling regionally, and then I was traveling, nationally and speaking and doing camps like that. And in that time, obviously running her foundation. And then also, I got connected with Kevin Durant and started training him. In 2013, he wins the MVP and my world kind of exploded. So very, but I often will tell a lot of people, young trainers or coaches, like I literally, when I first started with that 8th grade middle school girl, like I treated her like she was Kevin Durant or Elena Delle Donne. Little did I know 3 years later, I'd trained both of them, but I was honoring the moment right in front of me. So, that was something I had, mentors in my life that just said, honor exactly who's in front of you. And we kind of grow up in this generation now, this culture of Instagram and likes, like we're literally looking past people that are right in front of us to be like, oh, I want to work with that person, or I want that, like that's going to get more likes or that's going to get more notice. So, and there's literally people right in front of you that you can honor and hone your skills. So that was an important part of me, but I would love for anybody to check out the JEHH Memorial Fund. .org. That's my sister's foundation. Little 13 years, we've given back close to $1 million, refurbished 5 basketball courts and playgrounds across the country. We just completed our first one. We partnered with Tim Tebow's foundation and did one in Haiti, earthquake ravaged Haiti. So that was a really cool one for us, where we break ground on one in Orange, New Jersey this spring. But yeah, we'd love, obviously we're always trying to raise money, but obviously if you know anybody in your world or in your circle or your network, please have them reach out. We would love to help them and to be able to award a grant to them. So yeah, it's been really rewarding for my family and close friends that have been a part of this for 13 years. And yeah, that's I'd love to just end on that note. Chase your dreams. Yeah.
No, that's great. I'm definitely going to check it out because colon cancer is near and dear to my heart also. Lost my father. So I do a lot of the work with Lombardi Cancer Foundation because Coach Lombardi actually passed away of colon cancer too. So I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Everyone else, check that out. Adam Harrington dropping knowledge on us here at Locker Room Dads. But Adam, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast, and I hope to keep connecting with you down the road.
Guys, so special what you're doing. So thanks for letting me be a part of it, and we will definitely stay in touch. And Josh, I better see you at Disney. I'm going to let you know when I'm going. Yes.
Oh, you let me know.
You guys are the best, man. Thank you so much. Okay.
Appreciate it. I'll just wrap us up here. Everybody, thank you for listening to Locker Room Dads. You never know who we're going to have on the show next. See you next time.